suing Minneapolis over Pitbull restrictions.
Tonight, this is what's left of an apartment garage in Brooklyn Center. Fire guts cars and boats.
And these balloons represent some compelling stories about life and death. An added dimension report.
I'm Cindy Hilger.
And I'm Mike Walcher. We'll be reporting tonight from the Twin Cities.
And live from the Omni Coliseum in Atlanta, I'm Skip Loescher.
And I'm Colleen Needles. It has been a night of parties for Minnesotans who will tomorrow take part in the opening round of the Democratic National Convention. That's one of the stories we'll be covering on the 10 p.m. report.
Of all this country's strawberry growers, only this grower meets the high standards of the Cub Foods buyer. And of all this man's strawberries, less than half are good enough for Cub Foods. His other strawberries may be fine for other supermarkets, but Cub Foods only selects the best of the best.
Well, that's one.
Cub Foods. It's a new way to run a supermarket.
Snake River, Wyoming and Old Milwaukee both mean something great to these guys. The Snake River means fly fishing for lunker cutthroat trout. And Old Milwaukee means a great beer. Cold, crisp Old Milwaukee beer. And smooth, golden Old Milwaukee Light.
There's nothing like the flavor of a special place. An Old Milwaukee beer.
Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light.
Fellas, it just doesn't get any better than this.
WCCO Travel does it again. A complete Washington, D.C. vacation for only $299. Children 17 and under, only $189. This WCCO Travel ITA exclusive includes non-stop round-trip airfare, 3 nights at the world-famous Mayflower Hotel, and a tourmobile pass for sightseeing in our nation's capital. Longer stays available. Departures begin June 6th through September 9th, Mondays and Fridays. Call WCCO Travel at 921-3559.
Tonight, charred cars and boats sit outside this Brooklyn Center apartment complex. There is little to salvage from an explosive fire.
WCCO Television presents Mike Walcher, Cindy Hilger, Mark Strell, and Ralph John Fritz. This is the 10 p.m. report.
And good evening, everyone. Fire swept through an apartment complex garage early this morning in what officials say is an apparent arson case.
There were no injuries, but the damage hit people's personal belongings hard. A total of 20 cars and boats damaged or in some cases ruined. Now, we want to be clear where this happened. The apartment complex is in northeast Brooklyn Center, north of 694 and west of 252. Daryl Savage takes us there for this report.
It looks like a bomb hit the Columbus Village parking garage. At 4:30 this morning, it sounded like it.
It was just a bunch of bangs, all the cars blowing up and tires popping, and the roof just crashed in. My car was just all dented up and everything.
All that's left of their parking garage now are burned out vehicles and a handful of investigators looking for a cause. Chances are it's arson.
We have no reason to believe at this time that it was caused as a result of any electrical problem.
The fire left some sad individual stories. Yesterday afternoon, Ray Dunlap borrowed his friend's car under one condition.
He said, whenever you park it, make sure you put it in the garage beside yours and lock it up. I said, sure, no problem. And he's going to come back and $6,000 down the drain, which, you know, who knows how to explain something like that.
Steve and Darlene Scow put a new $2,000 motor on their boat yesterday. They were going to go fishing this morning.
I hurried up and woke him up and said, let's go get the boat out of the garage. And we got out here and the flames were, it was too late. So we just had to stay back and watch everything burn.
Many of the people here, like Mike Petranek, had only liability insurance on their cars. He just bought a used car and hadn't made one payment yet. Tonight, it's becoming clear that this is a costly fire. Daryl Savage, WCCO Television News, Brooklyn Center.
Apartment managers say the garage will be rebuilt as soon as their insurance company gives the okay.
Tonight, another person has died on a new breed of high-speed motorcycle called bullet bikes. At least 6 people in the Twin Cities have lost their lives on the Bullet bikes since mid-May. In this accident, a man lost control of the bike at Highway 252 and 93rd Avenue North in Brooklyn Park. It happened about 7 p.m. The name of the victim has not yet been released. These Bullet bikes are high-powered, and some officials have voiced concerns they're hard to handle and more dangerous than other motorcycles. 4 members of a Burnsville family suffered only minor injuries when their light plane crash landed at the Mankato airport. Wayne Scaff was flying his wife and 2 children to Colorado for a visit when their Cessna developed engine problems. Scaff tried to land at the Mankato airport but lost power and missed the runway. He just barely missed crashing into a lake. Scaff suffered cuts on his face. The Federal Aviation Administration is investigating. After that plane crash, the family returned to their home and once again started the trip west, this time by car.
Owners of Pitbulls will file a lawsuit in Hennepin County Court tomorrow to repeal Minneapolis's dangerous animal ordinance. The owners of this pit bull, Max, say their dog isn't trained to be an attack dog. It's a house pet like any other dog. They believe irresponsible owners make it tough on responsible ones like themselves.
Any dog bite situation should be a case by case. They, regardless of whether it's a pit bull terrier or a Doberman pinscher or a Malamute or any other large dog that could inflict bodily harm.
The ordinance they're trying to repeal says a pit bull must be muzzled when walked and kept in a cage, not on a leash when it's in the yard. If an owner violates the law, the animal must be destroyed. You're looking at a new weapon to fight the war on drugs. It's called an ADX machine. It can do on-the-spot tests on urine samples for drugs. The manufacturer showed it off today at the National Convention of District Attorneys held in Minneapolis. Hennepin County Attorney Tom Johnson says he'd like to see the ADX used here to monitor criminals on probation or parole. One of the machine's first uses will be at the Summer Olympic Games in Seoul to monitor athletes for drug use.
This is the final night of the 1988 St. Paul Riverfest, and tonight they tell us that attendance for this season dropped off by about 50,000 people. As always tonight, the view of the Riverfest from downtown St. Paul was spectacular. Riverfest spans close to a mile along Harriet Island. 34,000 folks showed up for this final night, which was cooler and drier than some of the others. And it is the heat and the Friday night rain which organizers are blaming for the fall-off in attendance. Final tallies tonight show that just more than 200,000 people went to Riverfest. That is down from the previous couple of years, but it's up from the first year, 1985. 175,000 folks attended that year. This afternoon at the state capitol, a special ceremony with a solemn touch to it. It was set up by a group called Compassionate Friends. The reason they've gotten together is because they share a common loss. Their children have died from a variety of causes, ranging from murder to illness. 200 people released balloons today in memory of each victim. But to understand stories like this one, we need to introduce you to some of the people who are involved.
In an added dimension report tonight, Trish Van Pilsum takes us inside this group called Compassionate Friends. They share some difficult events in their lives.
There isn't a day that goes by that I don't wake up and think about my son and think about something, he did or would have done on a day like today.
In talks like this, they share their feelings like only those who've been through what they've been through can.
I think we tell each other things that we don't tell anyone else in our group. I found myself saying things that I never would say to anyone else in the group because you feel like they're just a part of you. You can't believe how close you feel.
Close, despite very different tragedies. We know some of their stories. Joanne Erickson's daughter was murdered. Linda Shoebottom's body was found after she'd been missing for 3 months. She'd been killed by her husband. George Crothers' teenage daughter Tracy died of a mysterious heart ailment. The death of the young runner shook a Forest Lake Junior High School. Others no more private tragedies. Jim Aaron's 34-year-old son Larry killed himself. So did Gloria Goodale's son. Joe was 17 when he shot himself.
One of the things that I felt so strongly was the loneliness. I could be with, 15 people, and I felt like I was alone. And you can't, I agree with Joanne, you can't continue to, talk about it or cry or, make people uncomfortable because they don't know how to handle it.
Here, they don't have to pretend they're better.
With our group, we're there to help each other, listen to each other, and it's a slower process. We don't push anybody. If they want to come and just sit and listen, they can do that.
This is not always a solemn group. They laugh as well as cry, and they love, really love. Gloria and Jim met here and will marry this fall. A happy ending. These people won't try to fool you. They won't claim that in time they'll lay the memories of their children to rest. That's the last thing they want to do.
I always remember her, and I love it when someone talks about her and remembers her. And at her birthday in April, I got cards from people in the group, you know, and you open them up and you just cry because someone's remembering your daughter, and you don't want anyone to ever forget her.
Trish Van Pilsen, WCCO Television News, the Twin Cities.
For more information about how to get involved in this group, you can call Compassionate Friends at 588-8589. That's 588-8589.
Next, the many stories developing at the Democratic National Convention. One of them today involved the Ku Klux Klan. Their protest brought out the police, among others. Live coverage from Atlanta coming up in just a moment.
Come drive a Mazda truck. They're not only the #1 selling import truck in Minnesota, they're also #1 in customer satisfaction for the second straight year. And right now is a great time to get #1, while factory to dealer incentives can save you hundreds. So come on.
Come drive a Mazda.
See your Mazda dealer in Richfield, Brooklyn Center, White Bear, St. Paul, and Minnetonka.
Embers, a dozen delicious choices, each at a great low price. In fact, if you can find it better for less, we want to know about it. Embers, big taste, small check.
Tailgating, it's a great tradition before every big Vikings game. Now here's your chance to get fired up at the ultimate tailgate party. It's the Vikings versus the Bears in Sweden. To enter, look for this display at participating Rainbow Foods. Then beginning July 18th, watch Wheel of Fortune weeknights at 6:30 on Channel 4. If we announce your name, you'll have 44 seconds to call in and win a tailgate kit or one of 2 trips to Sweden. It's the ultimate tailgate party from Coca-Cola and Channel 4.
I don't think the issue here is whether we've encountered men. I think, I think that the issue here is that we love women.
I'm a heterosexual. Why should I pledge your sorority instead of another one?
It's become an alternative sorority. We don't, I'm not a lesbian, and that's all. I'm lots of things.
Lesbian sorority sisters. Next, Donahue.
Donahue, Monday morning at 8 on Channel 4.
Much is happening tonight in Atlanta as Democrats prepare for their national convention. It opens up tomorrow.
Members of our staff are in Atlanta to provide a Minnesota perspective on the convention and watch what role the Minnesota delegation plays this year. We join Skip Loescher and Colleen Needles live from above the convention floor. Skip and Colleen?
Well, Cindy, the big question here in Atlanta tonight is whether the Democrats will unite or decide to fight.
Well, Skip, senior aides to Michael Dukakis and Jesse Jackson continue to meet here in Atlanta trying to mend fences. Meanwhile, the candidates themselves were busy today making public appearances. Michael Dukakis attended a party thrown by cable news network owner Ted Turner tonight. The party was held just a few hundred yards from here in the CNN Center.
You know, for the past 17 months, I've had Georgia on my mind.
Earlier, Dukakis told reporters he had no plans to meet with Jackson, although the two would speak by phone. And for his part, Jackson told his delegates and urged them to stay with him. And tonight, Jackson was scheduled to speak at a fundraiser at the Fox Theater.
And that Fox Theater bash and the Turner affair weren't the only parties going in town here tonight. Minnesota and Wisconsin delegates got away from the convention area tonight to attend a gala out in the Atlanta suburbs, and Pat Kessler has just returned from there. He's down on the convention floor from roughly the same place the Minnesotans will be sitting at this time tomorrow night. Pat, they have a good time?
They had a wonderful time. They will be sitting here tomorrow getting down to work, however, but if they told you that they'd be working real hard down here in Atlanta today, take a look at this piece of tape that we obtained tonight. Minnesota delegates redefined tonight what a political party is. If we didn't know better, we might say this couldn't be those cool Nordic types from the Gopher State. The city of Marietta, Georgia, threw a bash tonight for about 1,500 of its closest new friends, including about 150 delegates and spouses from Minnesota. There was a healthy dose of Southern hospitality and a good share of Democratic songs to boot.
All together shout it now, there's no one who can doubt it now. So let's tell the world about it now. Happy days are here again.
Well, we've got to be honest about all of this, of course. The delegates won't get much of a chance to do that kind of thing starting tomorrow. By tomorrow morning, the real work will be underway, and whatever divisions exist between the delegates for Michael Dukakis and delegates for Jesse Jackson, well, those divisions will have to be ironed out starting this week. Part of that began today. Reverend Jackson met with the leaders of his 50-state campaign, including about 5 Minnesota delegates. And beginning tomorrow, they'll be meeting with Dukakis delegates. And also by tomorrow, the delegation will begin its day with a visit from Kitty Dukakis. She's, of course, the wife of the expected nominee. So, they had fun tonight, but by tomorrow, the long hours begin, the bad tempers, the bad food, and it's going to be awfully tough starting tomorrow. Colleen?
Well, Pat, and you know at all those events there will be an army of cameras, and in this television age it is no surprise that the people who run these conventions cater to the needs of all those cameras. Ellen Cox spent the day looking at how one of the networks is handling this week's political news. Alan?
Well, from down here, Colleen, you and Skip, you have a nice anchor booth, but we've got to be honest, it doesn't quite measure up to some of the big operations here, at least in terms of their booth. There's ABC, there's CBS. Part of the entertainment for delegates as the week goes on is to look through that glass and look at some of their favorite network stars. And over here, NBC and the fourth network, the anchors in there are not quite as recognizable, but the only one of the big four planning to carry this affair from gavel to gavel. It originates from here, 7 trailers beneath a parking ramp. Staffers call it the land of dead pigeons. But inside the control room, the pace is lively.
Yeah, I can hear you when you're on mic. I can't hear you when you're on headset.
So it will go every hour on the hour, through the days and evenings until Friday. While the convention is underway, CNN will remain on the air from its anchor booth. But it may not spend that much time on who's speaking from the podium.
We've heard the politicians for a year now. Now let's hear what the delegates have to say about this, especially given that you've got a sizable minority in the Jackson delegates that are going to affect the outcome of this election. The fervor with which they go out and campaign will determine whether this ticket's going to have a chance or not.
The cable network will commit up to 300 people to its coverage, mostly technical personnel, artists, editors, and reporters coping with the problems of finding conventioneers on the go.
Maybe I have the wrong number.
The cable network claims it won't save much money having the convention on its doorstep. CNN headquarters is next door to the Omni in an office and shopping mall. Staffers claim a convention next door is like any other remote broadcast.
Taking a feed from Sri Lanka.
As more of America gets cable TV, the audience keeps growing, extends to 61 countries. The pace will only get worse.
This is what I enjoy most. I guess maybe I'm an adrenaline junkie. Betsy, it's Fernand. Talk to me, please.
What's the point of all this sound and fury? Well, one critic today said that conventions are a combination of circus, steam calliope, and showboat that has been mothballed by history. But one of the newspaper editors working down here points out that there are 15,000 accredited journalists here, but there were 39,000 for the Spinks-Tyson fight. So I think that means, Skip, that we're a little understaffed here.
Okay, you can tell that to the bean counters, Alan. I think I'll keep quiet. A white supremacist group was outmanned by the Omni this afternoon. Some pushing and shoving ensued when the so-called skinheads were confronted by civil rights advocates. Atlanta riot police moved in quickly, hauling some of the professed Nazis off to jail. Pseudo-Minnesotan Ed Asner wandered around the Omni this afternoon. He's one of a number of Hollywood notables, including Rob Lowe and Ali Sheedy, who will also be here. And also at the Omni today, DFL State Chair Ruth Esla, who surveyed the Minnesota delegation seats on the floor and pronounced them just fine. Thank you.
And Skip, tomorrow will be Minnesota's day at this convention. As we mentioned, Kitty Dukakis will speak to the Minnesota delegation tomorrow. Garrison Keillor will be singing the national anthem. And St. Paul Mayor George Latimer will introduce Atlanta Mayor Andrew Young. And we will have it all tomorrow. Cindy?
All right, Colleen. Thanks. We'll look forward to it.
Well, the weather's coming up next. It sure looked like rain for a while tonight, but once again, most of it missed us. Mark Strell will be along in a moment as the 10 p.m. report continues.
McDonald's Shakin' Sunday Toppers.
Shake it up, baby. Tear it cherry pour. McDonald's got my flavor. Now we got my flavor. Don't want any more. Want any more? Chocolate chip, butterscotch, mint crunch, Oreo, M&M plain. Shake it up, baby. Shake it up, baby. That's your McDonald's store. Shake it.
But listeners have a choice in the morning.
Not everyone listens to WLTE to start the day.
Yeah, some people. Just like a dose of wacky guys first thing.
Even I sometimes tune around for news or talk, but then I spend the day with WLTE.
That's okay. WLTE is perfect to listen to all day long.
Wherever you are.
It's because we have great light songs to sing along with.
Our main message, no matter how you start the day, spend the day with the Light FM, 103 WLTE.
It's crazy hot. The heat's gone to our heads at Sun Valley Waterbeds, and we're making the craziest deals ever on the best in beds with 0 down and no payments till fall. Natural oak waterbeds from $188.
Crazy.
Bookcase waterbeds from $129.
Ridiculous.
Backsaver softsides just $3.99. I like it. Plus, come in and say,
I'm crazy from the heat.
And get the waterbed accessories you want at half price. It's crazy hot, and we're dealing like there's no tomorrow right now at Sun Valley Waterbeds.
If your old household appliances seem to have a mind of their own, it's probably time to check out Best Buy's low prices on GE appliances. As the largest name brand appliance dealer in the Midwest, we have the buying power to give you the full selection and low prices you want. Get a GE refrigerator for as low as $299.99, or a large capacity GE washer for as low as $269.99. Save on a new GE appliance at Best Buy. Our name says it all.
So the rain missed us, or did it rain nowhere, or what happened?
Yeah, it did rain somewhere, but you know, we've been kind of joking this whole summer about the dome effect, where the rain kind of comes up from the south, splits apart, goes the opposite way. I was talking to a friend who does weather in St. Louis. The same thing, they call it the arch effect. The rain kind of comes in from the south, splits around St. Louis, and keeps on going.
But you know, I was one of the 35,000 that got drenched Friday night. It didn't go around us that night.
Didn't you love it, though?
No.
No? Come on, you got tickets to a free concert, right?
Yeah,
you got the night off? What more do you want out of life? Right now we have mostly cloudy skies and 78 degrees at Twin Cities International. Our relative humidity at 40%, the dew point a comfortable 52 degrees, and winds out of the north at 8 miles per hour. Helping to cool us down just a little bit. Barometric pressure at 30 inches of mercury even. Our high today, 92, 10 degrees above the average. Our morning low at 67, and no rainfall out at the airport, although it rained not too far down the road from the airport. Sunrise tomorrow at 5:43, and sun sets tomorrow night at 8:55. Live National Weather Service radar. This is the up-close personal view of the radar. This is the 60-mile sweep, and all of this is that same ugly ground clutter that we're used to looking at by now, but there's still some scattered showers, pretty light stuff right now, south of Scott and Dakota County. You can kind of see it very closely down there. This is the area that did pick up some of the light rain earlier, and it just kind of melted away. This satellite picture was taken a couple of hours ago, and you can kind of see that this green does edge up into the southern portion of Minnesota. Yes, it did rain down there. Unfortunately, not what we needed, not here in the Twin Cities. You can see the showers and even some thunderstorms work their way across Iowa and into Missouri and southern Illinois. Some severe weather reported across the panhandle of Nebraska, all the way across to northern, northeastern Colorado and back into South Dakota. This rainfall was heavy. In fact, about 1 3/4 of an inch of rainfall. Spencer, Iowa. Des Moines picked up about 1.5 inches. 1 1/3 inches of rain at St. Louis, and 75-mile-per-hour wind gusts at Bartleson, Oklahoma, and 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts, and even a report of a tornado in sections of Pennsylvania tonight. That tornado whipped off a couple of buildings and ripped off some roofs to some barns in that neck of the woods. 65 degrees now at International Falls, the coolest spot on the map. 71 at Thief River. Oddly enough, still an 80 at Jamestown. 76 degrees at Mankato. 77 at Rochester. Our map for tomorrow shows more sunshine for us. We still could see some clouds in the morning, but this whole system continues to push further down to the south. That's the same thing that's bringing rain across Iowa and thunderstorms across Iowa tonight. And the temperatures will be dry. Temperatures will be cool tomorrow. The air mass will be dry. Temperatures peaking out right about in the 80s for us. Here's our forecast for tonight in the Twin Cities. Partly cloudy, still a chance of a shower. That's kind of going downhill every moment we speak, but still some showers in outlying areas. Low of 65 degrees, winds out of the north-northwest. For Monday, variable clouds, still a chance of a scattered shower, and there will be optimistic. What the heck? 85 degrees for a high tomorrow, winds north at 5 to 15. Monday night, fair and absolutely pleasant. Low temperature of 62 degrees. And on to Tuesday, fair skies, low humidities, mild temperatures. Will peak out at about 80 degrees. The extended outlook, Wednesday and Thursday, highs in the 80s, lows in the 60s. Will be in the lower 60s for lows, or the upper 60s for lows, I should say, on Friday. And the upper, I should say the lower 90s. Are you confused?
Whatever.
It's going to get warmer.
Just watch tomorrow. We'll figure this out.
We'll clear it up.
Well, hot times in Baltimore for the Twins, hot weather and hot bats. Tony Parker will give us a look at sports coming up next.
While the salads most restaurants serve have an abundance of lettuce, they don't seem to have an abundance of much else. At Perkins, however, we make our 10 summer salads with generous helpings of the freshest ingredients to create masterpieces. Of course, while most art is for people to look at, you'll find a better use for ours. And now we'll serve your salad in 10 minutes or less, or your next one's free.
WCCO Travel does it again. A complete Washington, D.C. vacation for only $299. Children 17 and under, only $189. This WCCO Travel ITA exclusive includes non-stop round-trip airfare, 3 nights at the world-famous Mayflower Hotel, and a tourmobile pass for sightseeing in our nation's capital. Longer stays available. Departures begin June 6th through September 9th, Mondays and Fridays. Call WCCO Travel at 921-3559.
On Hill Street Blues, the cops gang tackle a lunatic who turns up dead in his cell,
I don't believe this.
implicating Joe Coffey.
I'm dead. This guy's gonna convict me of the Korean War.
My old lady, I took her to a wife swapping party last week. Tried to throw in some cash.
You're a pretty funny guy.
And LaRue backs up a stand-up comic.
Big Hitler?
You're a beautiful person.
Hill Street Blues, Monday night at 10:50 on Channel 4.
On WCCO Radio, we have 186 different news segments every day. From world and local news to business, weather, sports, and more. Turn to WCCO AM Radio 830, where the news runs like clockwork.
Will it be Nicollet Island or the Lake Harriet Bandshell? Hi, I'm Bill Carlson. Celebrate summer with Channel 4 at this next Aquatennial event. Enjoy the St. Louis Park Community Band at Lake Harriet July 19th during a Summer for Celebration.
Yeah, you know the heat is on. The Twins felt it in the form of 100-degree temperatures in Baltimore. The Oakland A's are feeling it. They lost to Toronto by the score of 9-6. Couple that with the 7-2 Twins win, and the Twins are just 3 games out. Now, the long ball lived again today for the Twins. Last night, home runs accounted for all their runs. Today, they etched their first 5 runs, courtesy of the circuit clouts. Gene Larkin made it 2-zip in the second inning with a shot. Larkin continues to develop into a frontline player. Greg Gagne is another one putting the offensive numbers up now. Remember when he was in a slump? Well, no more. Gagne belted his 10th home run. The Twins are on their way to their 4th straight win over Baltimore. Kirby Puckett, well, I don't know if he's ever been in a prolonged slump. Puck put it away at 5-0 with a 2-run shot in the 5th inning. And there it is, and the Twins march off with that fine 7-2 victory. Yes, the offense looks good, but you know, often it's the defense that wins games. Between the Twins pitching and Gold Glove fielding, they may have the best in baseball right now. Today was another example. Frank Viola picked up win number 15. He did it with that devastating changeup. He threw Ed Murray 3 straight off-speed pitches for a strikeout there. Beautiful. Frankie tired after just 5 innings, the heat getting it to him. In the 5th, when he was tiring, the defense picked him up. Al Newman played third base for Gary Gaetti. He had a Gold Glove day himself. He starts the 5-4-3 Twin killing there. Any hopes of the big Oriole rally were completely squelched when Dan Gladden here took the Twins out of it. A great catch. Eddie Murray looks like he has an RBI single. Gladden comes up big. Viola replaced by Mark Portugal. Portugal had thrown just a third of an inning in the last 17 days. He looked like he hadn't missed a beat. He went the final 4 for the save. Can you believe the Twins might have too much good middle relief pitching? What a nice problem that can be, huh? Okay, here is the really good news. The Twins win it over Baltimore 7-2, and Toronto beats Oakland 9-6. McGriff 2 home runs. The Twins are now just 3 games back of Oakland. Kansas City 8.5 games back. The Twins travel to Boston tomorrow. Oakland plays host to Cleveland. Well, Louisiana Lightning is back, and today he was as hot as the weather he pitched in. Ron Guidry won his first game of this season, beating the Chicago White Sox. Guidry went 5 innings, allowing just 1 unearned runs. Here are the other scores in the American League today. Again, Boston beat Kansas City 10-8, 4 in a row for the Red Sox. New York beat Chicago 7-3. Cleveland topped Seattle 7-4. California blanking Detroit. Texas doing the same to Milwaukee by the same score. Unbelievable is one word you might use to describe the 1988 Pittsburgh Pirates. Today, Barry Bonds' 8th inning pinch hit home run spelled the difference. The Bucks beat San Francisco 5-4. Pittsburgh has now won 9 straight, just 2.5 games back of the Mets. Taking a look now at all the scores international. The Dodgers took a pair from Chicago, 4-1 and 5-2. Cincinnati beat Montreal 3-1. Philadelphia over Houston 10-0. Schmidt is 538th home run. Pittsburgh again in 9th in a row by beating San Francisco. The Mets beat Atlanta 4-2. San Diego took St. Louis with the score of 3-1. Well, Nick Price, a South African playing out of Orlando, Florida, is the leader in the British Open Golf Championship in Lytham, England. Price leads by 2 strokes. He saved a par here on the 11th, shooting at 2 under par 69 in today's rain-delayed 3rd round. He's at 7 under 206, heading into the final round tomorrow. Spain's Seve Ballesteros and defending champion Nick Faldo of England are tied for second. Faldo there got a birdie with a fine putt, and he was 2 under 69 today. Seve was at 1 under. Look at this, a hole-in-one. Lanny Watkins on the 246-hole first hole, and in she goes. How's that? Doing that in the British Open. Well, the best round of the day was turned in by veteran pro Sandy Lyle. Lyle went around in 4 under 67 to move into 4th place. He's at -4, the best U.S. score. Andy Bean at 1 under, 2 other Americans, and 1 other golfer also at 1 under. Well, Tom Murray of Oklahoma City captured the Trans-Mississippi Amateur Golf Championship today. He beat Greg Starkman of Beverly Hills, California in a 36-hole final round. Murray won it in match play 6-4. He doesn't receive any money for the victory, but he joined some fine company. Winners on this list have been 1959, a 19-year-old named Jack Nicklaus won that tournament at the very same Woodhill Country Club. Well, the infamous king of fast-pitch softball was in town, having some fun and hamming it up with his traveling show tonight. Eddie Feiner, the guy that's called the king in his court, teamed up at St. Paul, and as usual, they really hammed it up.
Hey, number 8! Hey, what's the matter? Don't your wife let you talk at home?
Feiner and the gang more than entertained a pretty good crowd at Municipal Stadium in St. Paul. Feiner outfoxed the St. Paul All-Stars with one of his vintage moves there, a pickoff. The team is the Harlem Globetrotters of fast-pitch softball,
really
if you
is.
will. They are outstanding.
Looks like a lot of fun.
Great show.
Thanks, Tony. It's not the stuff you'd want to use to build ocean vessels, but it'll work just fine on a Minneapolis lake. We'll talk about what material these racing boats have in common next.
They're here with a whole new act. The Grapevine Tour, only at Hardee's. Buy in 2 Rise and Shine biscuits or any dessert and collect an all-new California raisin figurine for just 99 cents. A new rocker or roller each week. Collect all 6 only at Hardee's, because we're out to win you over.
This typewriter and I have been through a lot of deadlines together. Kind of shows, too. But I wouldn't trade it for anything. It's kind of like my Yellow Pages, U.S. West Direct. I've got some other directories around here, but none of them have as much information as this book right here. You can tell by my doodling. It's the one that I use. I couldn't write a better book myself.
U.S. West Direct, the one that gets used.
It's a show that breaks all the rules.
You get the feeling that something's wrong?
Setting new records.
Something like that.
And featuring Benny the doctor, the biker, the cowboy, the gypsy, the teacher, the clown, and even Benny the ballerina, Benny Hill.
Good evening, viewers.
The guy women love.
All of me.
The show men crave.
Get on with it.
Tonight on Channel 4.
Think about it.
Tonight, the 17th annual milk carton boat races are in the Aquatennial record books.
And the races at Lake Nokomis brought out the fast, the seaworthy, and of course, the unusual. We picked a few of the more interesting craft, like the big fish slicing through the waters. Could it be the stolen record-breaking sturgeon? Just might be. And what's this, the anonymous legs? Wait, I hear a call of a loon. Sure enough, it's a loon boat plying the waters of Lake Nokomis. Now, this looks like a cartwheel. Actually, these guys could be hamsters running in a cage. Somehow, they just keep running, and yes, it moves. But this is my favorite, a simple craft. It tipped over, and these milk carton sailors tried to get the thing upright, and finally they said, it's not going to work, let's just push the thing through the water. And so they did.
A long way back to shore for that crew. With that, we're going to say goodnight.
Okay, our main message. No matter how you start the day, spend the day with the Light FM, 103 WLTE.
Yep, it's a fact. Summer cookouts were started by cowboys in the Smoky Mountains.
Cattle Company is serving the best of summer.
And nobody knows outdoor cooking like a cowboy.
With specials like barbecued baby back ribs, succulent tiger shrimp, and marinated top sirloin.
Sure stays light late in summer.
Summertime dinners from $7.95 at Cattle Company.
Stays awful warm, too.
There must be over 100 car dealers in the Twin City area. You have to wonder, why do people choose one over another? People are buying new cars at Midway Chev because of our huge selection and low prices. We have Novas, Celebrities, Camaros, Cavaliers, even air-conditioned Spectrums for only $79.95. And factory cash back on most models up to $600. I'll see to it that you're satisfied with your new purchase at Midway Chevrolet. You have my word on that.
Midway Chev, University Avenue, St. Paul.
I've got something for you.
A plain white t-shirt? Gee, thanks.
Oh, try it on. It's splashy.
Now, how do you figure?
Well, it's splashed with rivers, lakes, and legends.
Yeah, it's the legend of the blank shirt.
Not if it's a Minneapolis Aquatennial t-shirt.
Now that's flashy.
No, splashier than ever.
To order your shirt, send check or money order for $10 plus $1.50 postage and handling to Aquatennial Souvenir T-shirt, 702 Wayzata Boulevard, Minneapolis 55403.
Donahue.
Weekdays on Channel 4.
Yes, it's the Benny Hill Show. Great vacation.
Ah, the joys of getting ready for summer vacation. So much to fit in, so many details to remember. That's why it's nice to know Holiday Inn hotels are always there, with everything you want in a vacation hotel. Now with summer great rates, enjoy it all for only $29, $39, or $49. Get going, rooms are limited. Call now for summer great rates at a great vacation hotel.
Chevy S10 invites you to own this real estate with the biggest engine ever offered in a compact 4x4. The most V6 power and torque available in a compact truck. V6 power to make your heart beat faster than ever.
The heartbeat of America. That's today's Chevy truck.
Morning. You know, the iWorks says glasses fast, glasses right. They mean it. Just this morning, I didn't have these glasses. Came to the iWorks, got a thorough exam, then picked out my frames. Great selection. Then watched them make my glasses right in their own lab. Most folks would be happy to get a new pair of glasses in a few days. But at the iWorks, they can make them in an hour. And at a great price.
Major HMO and PHP members can get 15% off regular priced eyewear at the iWorks.
Tom Donati, Primetime Live on CCO2, inviting you to join me and Lee Halston Wednesday night, July 20th, for the only live coverage of the Aquatennial Torchlight Parade. We'll see you at 9 o'clock on cable CCO2 for this exclusive Primetime Live Torchlight Special, only on cable and only on CCO2. Check your newspaper for the cable channel listing in your area.
Twins lead 4-2. Here's the pitch. Swing a bouncing ball to God. He has it. Goes to Herbeck. And the Twins are baseball's world champions. The world champion Minnesota Twins. McGee grounding to Gotti for the last out of the World Series. The Twins win it 4-2. Let's listen to this crowd. What else?
Everyone dreams of making it big, even raisins. And the big dream shared by every raisin is to be big enough for Post Raisin Bran. But for Post, only one kind of raisin is plump enough, sweet enough, big enough. It's the California raisins. Those super big superstars from the San Joaquin Valley. The only raisins big enough for the crispy flakes and Post Raisin Bran with the California raisins. 'Cause big raisins make a big difference.
Am I mistaken? Or is that bacon? There's no mistaken. The 2 strips of bacon in Van Camp's new deluxe baked beans. Tell me more.
Van Camp's deluxe baked beans are seasoned with 2 strips of real crumbled bacon for an irresistible taste.
I'll buy that.
I'll try that.
So if you're taken with real smoked bacon, you love Van Camp's deluxe baked beans.
New from Van Camp's.
10% off.
10% off.
This weekend at Walter Chrysler Plymouth, pick out any new car or truck in stock and take 10% off.
That's right, 10% off on over 200 cars and trucks.
10% off means you save up to $1,800 on Plymouth Voyager.
Up to $1,000 on Plymouth Sundancer.
Save up to $1,500 on LeBaron Coupes.
Don't miss 10% off every new car or truck in stock.
Through Monday, only at Walter Chrysler Plymouth, County Road 18 and Excelsior Boulevard in Hopkins. Be there.
With a smell like that, he doesn't have a chance.
Escape from dirt and odors with Lemon Fresh Dash. Its lemon freshening power dashes out some of the toughest odors and dashes in freshness.
Howdy, boys. Lose something?
It's not him. Maybe over there. Dash out odors. Dash in freshness.
When I was a little girl, I loved 2 things. Dessert and Tommy, what's his name? I got over Tommy. I still love dessert. Well, I have it every chance I get, as long as it's sugar-free Jell-O gelatin. It's all NutraSweet, with only 8 wonderful little calories.
Sugar-free Jell-O gelatin, the dessert you don't have to dessert.
Eat your heart out, Tommy.
There must be over 100 car dealers in the Twin City area. You have to wonder, why do people choose one over another? People are buying new cars at Midway Chev because of our huge selection and low prices. We have Novas, Celebrities, Camaros, Cavaliers, even air-conditioned Spectrums for only $79.95. And factory cash back on most models up to $600. I'll see to it that you're satisfied with your new purchase at Midway Chevrolet. You have my word on that.
Midway Chev, University Avenue, St. Paul.
Let's get ready to rumble! The Shack is back. Oh, that was in the upper deck. Oh, that one's gone. Bingo! Hoot banners are back.
You think it's safe to hit a ball in a place like this? Ballroom.
Hoot signs are back.
Woo! You know, I'm always shooting myself with those darn poison-tipped crossbow darts.
Caddy Shack 2.
I don't know why they don't put a warning on the package.
Rated PG. Starts Friday, July 22nd at a theater near you.